What's up, Allegheny Trail lovers? Great to be with you again tonight. Got a special episode lined up for you as usual. Tonight, we do have a new co-host with us. This is Kevin Honeycutt, who's also a board member of the West Virginia Scenic Trail Association. And he's the assistant coordinator in Section 1. For those of you that are going to be out enjoying that, you can thank him for some of his hard work. And he's also been hiking the trail with me this summer. So I want to introduce Kevin Honeycutt.
How we doing, friends of Allegheny? Excited to be here. Thanks, Nicole.
Awesome. So yeah, we've also got a couple other people that have been on trail with us tonight, specifically Heidi. We previewed her a couple months ago. She's done the hike. We're going to do a recap tonight. Very exciting updates happening. So without further ado, let's introduce Heidi.
Hey guys.
And of course, Julie. Julie, get back in here. Julie Gayhart. So is our producer. She's going to be part of this too. She's been on this trail a bunch. And so let's take a minute and reflect. Every single one of us right now has been on the trail, blood, sweat, and tears, hot, maybe dry a little bit, like a lot of us in the country right now, out enjoying the woods. But Heidi, you did something really special and unique this year. Tell us a little bit about why you were on our trail for those maybe who didn't catch a previous episode.
Yeah, so my thru hike of the Allegheny Trail was actually an artist residency, which was supported by West Virginia Scenic Trail Association. So just in short, what that was an opportunity to both thru hike the trail, but also to enhance my creative practice and produce a series of artwork, majority of which was done from the trail, sitting in the dirt, looking at whatever I'm painting in that moment while I was going through all of the challenges and highlights and experiences of thru hike itself.
Yeah. So how fortunate were we? I know Kevin was also on the artist committee that helped garner and produce the ideas, what we wanted her to do, give her some liberty as well. And Kevin, you want to speak to a little about that process?
Yeah, sure. I was leading a group of folks from our on the trail, kind of a new concept. Heidi and I went back and forth a little bit on that. We came to an agreement on what worked out best for her and as well to benefit the organization. And we're super excited about how well it turned out. So it was great putting this together. Some of you have already seen some of her artwork on social media, and, we're really pleased on how it turned out. And thank you again, Heidi.
Thank you so much. It was really fun, and it was great working.
Awesome. Well, we're super excited about the outcome. We're super excited about the artwork. And one thing that, uniquely came about was a wonderful relationship with Heidi. She's family now, right? So, and your hiking buddy, Gray Squirrel, obviously Julie, you've already been family, but helping put all this together, super unique. I couldn't be happier with the outcome overall. We'll share some of that stuff with you guys too. But as many of you may know, in a couple short weeks, Kevin, what do we have going on?
We've got 50th anniversary celebration in Greenbank, West Virginia, and it's going to be a great time.
And we've got some incredible classes. We've got workshops. We got bands. We've got some good food, lots of opportunities, and we'll segue right back into Heidi, because Heidi, what are you going to be doing there?
I'll have a few things going on. So I am going to have a tent up with all of the paintings from the Allegheny Trail. So all 10 paintings, the originals, framed and cleaned and polished, are going to be up and hanging and available. And now they are officially on the market. They're available for purchase. 2 of them have already been purchased. So that'll be a great opportunity to snag the one that you want before somebody else does. And then I will be doing a watercolor workshop. I believe that's on Sunday morning. Is that correct?
Yep.
And this will be a 2-hour workshop, and it comes with take-home supplies. So a watercolor kit that's great for backpacking, sketchbook, all the stuff that you need, and a little tutorial on how to kind of start your own creative practice, specifically in nature and in the backcountry. And then I'll also be able to give a little artist talk. So I'll have an opportunity to talk a little bit more about the painting specifically and do some Q&A and stuff like that.
Yeah. How cool is I mean, like, I think about when I pack my backpack, got my food, got my stove, got my sleeping gear, but now there's a whole element of artwork I'm gonna have to pack. I mean, just making sure it doesn't get all messy in the pack, and how long does it take before you can, really wrap that stuff up if you're out doing it, right? You get there, you get your location, you set up, all these little tips and tricks. What's that like?
Well, if you're doing something small in a sketchbook, like most of the stuff that I had done before the Allegheny Trail, it wasn't more than an hour if I was doing it on trail. And that was what was special about my Allegheny Trail experience is I was given the opportunity to sit for 4 hours and paint. And so that's what was a little bit different. But really, it can be whatever you want. I mean, on my most recent, I just came back from Europe with my husband, and I carried a little pocket sketchbook. It fit in my fanny pack, and I would do 20-minute sketches, and that's a great way to document the experience as well. So it's really just like up to the individual. There's so many different ways to approach it.
Cool. So let's rewind here for a minute and we'll go to section 1. We'll start in section 1. For those of you that don't know anything about the Allegheny Trail, we have 4 sections. Our trail typically is a north to south kind of trail. And so this is how Heidi and Gray Squirrel did it. Why don't you talk to our viewers and listeners here about what that first section was like, and then I'll maybe reveal a little bitty piece of artwork that came out of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like this might be maybe an unpopular opinion from thru hikers with Allegheny Trail thru hikers, but I think section 1 might have been my favorite segment. It has there's that word that I don't know if I dare say, the road walk word. There's a few roads, but and that is predominantly what section 1 is, but it's really just a wide trail, a much wider trail. We saw very little traffic and most of it was gravel or dirt road, so it wasn't hard on the feet. And for me, having done a lot of hiking in Appalachia, to have that opportunity to be on roads and going through farmland and countryside rather than sticking to the green tunnel, and I love the green tunnel so much. But I really appreciated the uniqueness of section 1, kind of going through the rural areas and kind of seeing like, oh, this is the route. Like you would go by people's homes and you would see like, this is this beautiful road. And the only people who are ever out here are the people who live on the top of this hill, And so it's just so cool to see that little kind of snippet of rural lifestyle in northern West Virginia. And I think it was actually my favorite section of the whole trail.
Really cool. And that's one thing we try to explain to people, right? Definition of a road walk within the hiking community is a little obscure, in my opinion. It's a little bit different. I mean, in all other sports, we kind of have a rating system. Like if you're going to go skiing, you have a green, really easy, nice, gentle slope, blue trail, square, changes things up a little bit, a little more grade, no moguls yet, typically. But then all of a sudden you hit the Black Diamond, it's a little more challenging, a little more speed, a little more slope, a little more everything, and maybe some moguls. And so in the realm of like backpacking, hiking, I just don't see how you can compare a 55-mile-an-hour road, paved road, with tractor trailers flying by you, or even faster, to the same thing as like the road we're talking about, Heidi. And maybe I'm just a little biased, but at the end of the day, it is beautiful. How many different animals did you see? Did you see any animals? Let's start with that.
Oh, we saw so many animals, and I saw a lot more wildlife on this trail than I'm used to seeing. We saw countless deer, probably in the hundreds, including some of the fawns that were like nested down, right? Because it was the appropriate season for that. We did see 3 bear. We saw 3 rattlesnakes. We saw a bald eagle. We saw, I don't know my birds very well, but we saw a bunch of birds that I was like, that's a weird bird. Like if I knew my birds, this would be a card on bird bingo. We saw a beaver and we saw an otter. So those are my 2 highlights because I'd never seen a beaver or hiking before. So those 2.
Yeah. Very cool. You went over some bridges. You had some water interactions for sure. And I will just show those of us that are with us visually, this is one of the outcomes, one sticker again, with this project, Heidi created artwork that we turn into files that we get to turn into all kinds of stuff. So this is a sticker along section 1, and it's actually part of the Cheat River watershed here. I'm gonna zoom in real quick, and Julie, feel free to kind of tell me if I need to do anything different. But what we've done with this is we got the Easy Pill sticker here. So it's one of those easies. We got our website so you can keep up with things. And we got the visual, the name, and the location. And this is unique here also because we have a wonderful event each year called Cheat Fest with the Friends of Cheat who go out, and it's a big conservation awareness event, great bands. We have a kayaking race, that type of stuff. And so at the end of the day, this is all, you have to walk the Allegheny Trail to get down on this river and participate in that race, which is pretty cool. So that's going to be out of section 1. Heidi, if you want to jump into maybe section 2 and talk a little bit about that. Our first miles, for those of you that don't know, section 1 is 95 miles. It brings you up to the Potomac Highlands. And so now I'll turn it back over to Heidi. She's in probably Davis and Thomas at this point.
Yeah. So Davis and Thomas were super cool towns, and I really enjoyed the opportunity to explore those, especially as an artist because there's such a great art scene there. And then that's when the trail kind of shifts back into the forest a lot more so than section 1. And so, like, as much as I enjoyed the road walk, getting back into the woods was like, oh, cool, like I'm in the woods. This is, what I'm used to. And it was really beautiful, especially like Canaan Valley was really cool. And it's just like a different ecosystem than I was used to because you have a lot of these like Southern Appalachian plants, but then you also have based on the elevation or where the latitude is, some trees and different species that I was used to seeing in my hikes in Maine or in Minnesota. So it's this really like bizarre to me, kind of knowing my plants and kind of knowing what to expect where. It was weird seeing 2 different worlds combined ecologically. And it was really beautiful, and it was pretty refreshing to get back on single track dirt trail. It's also slower than walking on the roads. If I'm thinking about the roads, you just feel like a beast because you can do 25 miles, and you're just like, it's just so smooth going. And then all of a sudden you got to look for roots and rocks. And I actually did that first day in section 2, twist my ankle bad. And I was like, oh no, I don't know what's going to happen here. And I was really lucky. We were being shuttled by Marsha from LRC B&B, who you guys have interviewed before. And we happened to go by a tiny little pharmacy in a tiny little town, and they had one ankle brace, and I snagged it, and that totally saved my hike. Still feeling a little bit of residual pain from that injury, but was thankful enough to find the brace that I was able to, as long as that brace is on, I can hike without any pain. So anyways, just this to say that, like, yeah, it got a little harder. It got naturally beautiful, and this way it takes you away from that rural experience that I was saying earlier into a more of a wilderness experience, and just really enjoyed. We were seeing all the Mount Mural was blooming at that point, so it was incredibly beautiful.
Cool. Big details on that. So section 2, for those of you who don't know, about 92 miles, going to take you from Davis to the Cass, West Virginia State Park. Also takes you to the Blackwater State Park. And Heidi, I know we're going to come back and talk about this in a minute, but I'm actually going to show 2. Actually, no, I'll just show 1. For those of you, all this stuff you can buy on the website after the 50th. We gotta save some for all our participants, right, that are attending, give them first dibs on all this cool artwork and stuff. But let's I'm going to describe this picture for a second. It's in section 2, but I'm going to let Heidi also expand upon what generosity came about when she was hanging out here. So this is a postcard. So the first one we showed y'all was a sticker, right? We're moving into our postcards now. I'm not very good at holding that still there for y'all. Okay. So let's turn it around the back. And for those of you that are thinking about through hiking, look, you can pick these up ahead of time. We can drop these in the mail. You can pick these up along the trail. But it talks about where we are, talks about Heidi, and again, our website. So you can tell that story if you're having fun. How's it going? Send it back home to mom, the kids, cousins, everybody, right? But Heidi, talk to us a little bit about this area.
Yeah, so that was along the Glady Fork, and so we had been doing we hiked however many miles that day. That was actually, I think, the day that we saw the otter in the river along the Glady. And we got to this like dispersed recreational campground where RVers and stuff can come in and park in a variety of places. And so we kind of expected to see a good bit of people there since it was a weekend. And one thing that's unique about this trail is that really, like, we were almost the only hikers that we saw was ourselves that whole time. And coming from an experience like the Appalachian Trail, where you're in this big bubble of hikers and there's this experience of trail magic where people are waiting for this bubble of thru hikers to come through, we kind of expected to get none of that because we didn't really think that we would run into that many community members that really knew what we were doing or why we were out there. Well, we got to this RV park, and I know other hikers that would be like, oh, there's people around, let's leave. But I was like, no, I have experience in this. There's people around. I get food. And so we set up. We found some neighbors that seemed relatively quiet, and they were great. And it was this huge family. And we just kind of asked them, is anybody set up over there? We just have 2 tents. Do you mind? And they're like, yeah, that's totally fine. Where are you coming from? How'd you get here? What's going on? And we walked here from Pennsylvania, and they were just flabbergasted. And they were like, well, we have burger. Come on over. So sure enough, we had a whole dinner of trail magic with them that night. And then go back to the tent site. I start that painting. Gray Squirrel's going to set up, and he realizes he left his hammock at LRCB&B. And so he also had a tarp and a bivvy system, so it wasn't that essential. And so he wrote on his garment, he wrote to Marcia and said, can you send that to that hammock? Just send it home to my home in Florida. And she wrote back, did you make it to the campsite? And he said, yes, she's just checking in. Well, lo and behold, an hour later, Marcia rolls up with the hammock. She drove out with her and her husband. And then she plops down. She also has a full plate of food that was left over from one of the guests that was staying at her B&B that night. So we got double dinner, double trail magic just within a few hours. And we got a lot of trail magic on this trail. We got beer, we got water, we got snacks and rides all up and down this trail. So even though we weren't expecting it nearly the same way you might on something like the Appalachian Trail, we still got a lot of love.
Sure. So pretty cool stuff there. Hey, Kevin's Jordan, we're coming back in a tech issue, but no big thing. So here's the thing. We're in section 2 now, and we're fast forwarded through. And I think you met some friends on trail along the way. And then there was this thing. We had a party for a beer that was made for the Allegheny Trail 50th. So Miss Julie, if you want to let me zoom in on this, I'll show this to those that weren't able to attend that launch party with us, but rest assured, you can still get this beer, okay, in West Virginia. And so we'll start on the back. We've got the Allegheny Trails made by Big Timber. Kudos to them. It's a delicious beer. It's a West Coast hoppy IPA. We've got our Allegheny Trail 50th logo there. And we're going to turn it around. It's the entire trail. And this was designed by Miss Rosalie Hazlitt, who is an incredible West Virginia artist, lives locally here in Section 2 in the region. But if we zoom in, you can see where we start up here. Okay, whoops, a little bit further up here. But everything on this label is a poster, right? We can buy this label on our website as well. And it goes into a lot of the unique components of the trail, some endangered species, some of the unique towers, the fire towers, the rich history, the morels, the ecosystem, the conservation, the railroads. So I won't bore y'all too long with this, but my goodness, what a beautiful can. Okay, so I'm going to put this down. But so we had a party. We got Heidi to come to a party on trail. You can't come to West Virginia without a party. I mean, come on.
Oh, it was such a good time.
Yeah. Kevin, you were there?
Yeah. Shout out again to Big Timber. What a wonderful event. They were great to collaborate with, and it was a great turnout. A lot of people came out and had a good time. A lot of beer was consumed, and everybody had a lot of positive things for the Allegheny Trail community. And it was just an all-around positive event for all involved.
Totally. I don't want to cut you off there. Heidi, if you want to say anything about that last event.
Oh, I just had a great time, and I was really stoked to get to meet Rosalie in person there. I have followed her on Instagram and drooled over her work for years now. So I was really thrilled to get to meet her in person and get to chat a little bit. And then the women that we've come to call the sisters, the three women that were hiking northbound, we were able to coordinate with Help for Nicole for them to be there as well. So it's really great to kind of be able to be around some other people who were currently through hiking, so we weren't the only ones in the room that smelled really bad.
Bonus for us. No, just kidding. But no, that was great. It was a super event, great support. A lot of people came out to learn about us. A lot of people maybe that were just passing through ended up learning about us. And so, yeah, again, complete appreciation really for Big Timber, what they're also offering, right, in terms of gratitude and giving us some 50% back on those beer sales. So great partnership. We really, really appreciate what they've done. So now we're moving into Section 3, y'all. Section 3 picks us up in Cass State Park. So real famous, right? I'll review that for those that may not know about it. But the largest collection of the Shea engine locomotives, not just in West Virginia, not just in the United States, not just in North America, but the world. The world. So our trail goes right on through the state park that talks about the Shea number 5 that has never left the state, was built here, lives here, operates here. A lot of times locomotives come from all over, but this is a really special spot for those of you that have a family member who love trains. Y'all got to come up and see Cass. But this section 3, Kevin and I just hiked all of it there, and was able to have a nice day, beautiful day, and then we got absolutely drenched. I mean, squeegee feet for miles. But so we hiked from, thanks Julie for putting that up. So we hiked from Cass down outside Marlington right there, down through Huntersville, down right into just being outside White Salt. We're up there. And so that section, uniquely, we went through West Virginia's largest state park, or state forest first. And so that has a lot of CCC history in it. So the camps, think about that for a second. And one of our shelters you all can sleep in, I think, Heidi, you painted there, correct?
Yeah. Which one? Rob?
The hiker shelter. We got 3 in that state forest.
Seneca State Forest. That was beautiful. That was an incredible spot. We were really stoked to find ourselves up there. Yeah.
Did you sleep there in that shelter?
Yeah, we did. I set up my tent right outside the shelter, and Gray Squirrel slept on the picnic table as he was apt to do on a lot of slept on a lot of picnic tables. That was great. Seneca State Forest was really beautiful. We saw a lot more other people out recreating within that state forest, so mountain bikers and other hikers. Some ATVers when we crossed those roads. They gave us beer. They gave us water. I love ATVers. They always give me beer and water.
For sure.
I really enjoyed that painting as well. It's just you're up there and you have this really incredible view, and then the architecture of the shelter is pretty unique as well. And so it gets kind of redundant painting just nature over and over and over again. So I enjoy the opportunity to incorporate a few man-made elements, and really liked the geometry of the shelter and the way it was built.
Yeah, and that shelter, Kevin, if you remember, that's got a huge fireplace in it. I mean, very, very, not too often do you walk along and there's just like a massive fireplace in the shelter. And Kevin, why don't you take a second, honey, and tell some of our listeners and our viewers tonight about our shelter system and how many we have and what we're doing with that for those that don't know anything about the Allegheny Trail shelters.
Yeah, sure. For those of us that don't know, we have 9 shelters up and down the trail. We have in the works potentially to get a few more in the near future. But we've got them spaced out as you go. You get through section 1 into 2, we've got several of them in 2 going in down to where they're talking about their Seneca, state forest. And, they're spread out anywhere from 8 to 15 miles apart. Gives, an opportunity for our thru hikers to get out of the weather. I know there was some weather there around Waddell that Heidi and Gray Squirrel were fortunate to get in the shelter and stay out of the weather there around High Falls. So I know that, Heidi previously mentioned that it was a welcome surprise the number of shelters that we have along our trail. But yeah, for those of us that don't know, we have 9 shelters in place. They're typical, your 3-sided shelter. I all have fire pits. Graham Shelter even has a pit toilet there down off the side. So, a lot of great options. They're all fairly near a water source. So it's all been systematically thought out in logistics there ahead of time. And, we went through in the past 2 years and have put new roofs or built new ones, so everything is freshly updated and in good working order and ready to go for the next bunch of thru hikers that come in town.
Awesome. And so, Julie, I'm going to request to zoom in again real quick, because this was one of the artwork pieces I wanted to share for Section 3 that Heidi did. So imagine yourself sitting in this 100-plus-year-old, well, maybe not quite 100 yet, but the CCC shelters. Pretty old, is my point. And so another postcard. But this is the view looking out into nature, right? If I can get this right, y'all, sorry. Through that perspective. So really beautiful south-facing elements there of those beautiful rolling hills. Great picture there. Really classy. I liked how you drew in the artwork of the structure, like you said. And those that go there, it's etched in your brain. I mean, it's just one of those things, right? You'll always have it right there, which is super cool. Again, just a postcard on the back. Y'all pick one of those up, send it back home to family, save it, do a collage when you get back from the trail. Really inexpensive way to kind of keep the memory rolling. And then this particular state forest actually has 2 shelters that campers can use and hikers can use. It's also the home of the Thorny Mountain Fire Tower, which you can rent. That's right. You get to climb all the way up in it. So I'm going to rent it, sleep in it. It's beautiful. But my friends, year in advance. You got to book a year in advance. It's always booked. It's pretty cool. So that's down the road. We bypass that, right, as you're hiking down the trail and doing your thing. Then we're going to jump into West Virginia's largest state park, which is Watoga. In a couple miles, we go through there. And so that completes Section 3. Now we're going to jump into Section 4. Heidi, anything specific? I know like hiking isn't always beautiful and easy and simple. Tell us about what happened in Section 4.
Section 4 got wild. Section 4 got, I can tell that not that many people have been hiking here. I think that, I don't know that much about how trails come to exist and stay in existence, but I imagine a big part of it is just people walking it. Like, I know the trail in my backyard that I made, it just stays there because we walk it with our dog every day. So when you don't have hundreds of people walking on this trail every year, it's going to grow in. And so, we toggle back and forth between some really pristine and really beautiful trail and some trail that was like, there haven't been humans here in 3 years, it feels like. And so that really, things got much more challenging for us in a way that I wasn't entirely used to. It wasn't that, we were having incredibly challenging climbs or really rocky terrain or something like that. It just was that we were like face to face with what makes Appalachia so brutal. This is a temperate rainforest, I think, is technically the designation for our area. And so things grow and things grow fast, and they grow in your face, and they grow with thorns, and they grow with stinging little needles, and then these little coiled up critters without legs and rattles on their tails like to live underneath. And so it kind of took a turn for us going into Section 4. Definitely not all of Section 4, and definitely not even the majority of Section 4 was like that. But the challenging parts definitely more ingrained themselves into our memory just because they were tough.
Sure.
But,
Go ahead.
We
Sorry.
did see a lot of. I'll point out, like, I know that there was big trail maintenance day right after Laurel Run, and I have never been more thankful to see evidence of a weed whacker in my life. We got to a road crossing, and I had actually called Justin from the top of the ridgeline prior to say, like, where I know you guys did trail maintenance somewhere. Can you please just tell me where it is so I know when? And he's like, oh, it's in a mile from where you are. And the lower lows make the highs feel higher. And so when we crossed that bridge and got to that like, I mean, the 10 to 12 mile section that was so obviously like blood, sweat, and tears went into making that a lot better than I'm assuming it had been prior. There was a lot of appreciation from both of us to make it to that section.
Sure. And like, here's the deal. We're all volunteer nonprofit. And so to get people to donate their time, donate their energy, donate all kinds of effort to maintain 311 miles is a big deal. And so this particular area, and for those that are listening too, like full disclosure, part of this was closed for a little bit this year with prescribed burn. And so we all know, conservation, maintenance, all that stuff happens. And this was actually in one of our public land areas in the Monongahela National Forest. And so life is going to come back raging after that prescribed burn, right? That understory was hit hard. And then all of a sudden, man, water, sunlight, access to life, here I come raging. And that's what you were talking about. But even the fact of the matter, like, yeah, people haven't been there. So we own that. And so we got, you reached out, we had a couple other people reach out, we formulated these work days, and that's what we have to do, right? We always have a plan, but for that hiker who's listening, who's thinking about doing this, and it's, whether you're on our trail or not, please use the Far Out app and report down trees, report any challenges with the trail, any issues with, animals, that type of thing, where the trail organization can then deploy a group to go out and do it. Now, it may not be right away or overnight, but my point is, Heidi, you and Gray Squirrel communicated that. We've had a few other hikers communicate that stuff, and we're doing our effort. We're doing our part. We're putting in the time, trying to make it happen, and without those eyes and ears, right, they're vital to us because we don't, being a little small, we don't always have somebody to go sweep that area and find out about it for us. So we thank you, and at the same time, it's like one of those things, right? You're part of our team now, too, because without you, maybe we wouldn't have known about it. So that's how the hiker can really help overall trail maintenance. And that relationship is really vital.
Yeah. And I do want to emphasize too, there was, our hike took, I don't remember. It was just shy of a month. So let's call it like 26 days, 28 days, something like that. 3.5 or 4 days of that did I feel like I was faced with those challenges. The rest of the trail was fine. The rest of the trail was great and beautiful and wonderful. And so that's really a very small fraction, if anybody who's thinking about through hiking this trail is worried about that, like, reputation, just like, that's a small percentage.
Yeah, for sure. And we got groups going out every weekend here between now and, geez, I don't want to make you guys sound like we're just busting butt all the time, but we got a lot of work days coming up. So come join us. All you got to do is jump on the website, learn about how to volunteer. And I'll segue for just a second on a tangent in here. Kevin's back. He can speak to what it's like to be part of a work day. We take everybody, any age, any skill set. You don't have to be some 20-year-old who can sling dirt for 8 hours. That's not what we're about. Kevin, tell them what volunteers like with us. Or maybe you didn't hear that. Kevin, can you hear me?
But we have sound now. Yes. Apologize for the technical difficulty. Disadvantage of enjoying the beautiful sun out here. Overheated phone has got me a couple times, but I can speak to respect our trail events. Obviously there's a lot of hard work. Remember, the only one that comes out there, that's the volunteers. So when we have volunteers out, what do? We take care of the log. What's that ruling point? We're going to feed them. We're going to have droves. We're fire to hang out around, and there may be some other types of alcohol that comes out too. Just welcome everyone in friendship and fellowship and all the good things, along with the blood and the sweat and the tears. But one thing we all have in common is a lot of love for the Allegheny Trail, and we certainly appreciate our folks that come out and volunteer. I know we just went through this part of Section 3 where Heidi went through, I believe it was the Graham Shelter, and I read her post in the law, giving a shout out to the folks, because she went through the first part of 3 where, there is some areas that in the growth season are challenging. And we had heard that, and we responded. We put a crew together, and when she got to the Laurel Run trailhead, and there for about 8 miles straight through there, we had just had a crew, and we had weed eaters, we had the hedge trimmers, we had people out there with hand saws, we had chainsaws going. Molly was out there with Justin. Some of us saw that she's got her PPE on, so that's always fun to talk about that, but it is a lot of work. But to that, Heidi had mentioned to us that, there's some section in the trail that needs attention. So we put together some folks, and we went and got a lot of that summer growth taken care of. And Heidi's post in that log book reflected her appreciation for that. So they walked through some of them challenging areas, and then had the seas parted, and, clear trail for several miles. Expressed her gratitude to all the volunteers, and even threw her hat in the ring to come and volunteer in the futures. It means a lot for all of us to go out and volunteer and give our time away from our families and our blood and our sweat and our tears, and to see what it means to our hikers that are coming through, and the appreciation, the love that they have for our folks that are doing that. So it really means a lot when you get to see what your efforts are going towards. But yes, trail weekends, we do maintenance on the trail. It takes a lot, especially in the summer growth. I could go on and on, but you got all kinds of equipment and things going to keep the trail clear. We do have those events. We've got opportunities of people of all ages, all skill levels. A lot of love for our folks that stay at camp. They keep the grill going. They keep food ready when our hungry workers get back to camp at night. The fire is going and dinner's ready. All of those things. The beer is cold, whatever you want to call it. These folks, there's all parts of it, whether you're blazing or if you're running a chainsaw. We got opportunities for everyone, and it's always a good time. Like I said, a lot of work, but a lot of fun just the same. It feels good when you get to give back. And, when you see the appreciation in the log books, it reminds you why we do what we do. Not only do we love hanging out and having that fellowship, but the appreciation you get and the love from the hikers that come through, that's why we all go out and do it. And it means a lot to all of us, because that's why we do it. Everyone involved loves the Allegheny Trail. It's great when you get to read those log books and appreciation. Yes,
Sure.
That's a long-winded way of saying how much we do on our trail weekends, but yeah, wrap back into it and get there. But yes.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, or maybe new to this, what we do is we have a variety of trail weekends, work weekends throughout the trail, right? So section 1, 2, 3, and 4, they all have different coordinators. We make things happen. That looks like maybe a 2-day work day, maybe a 1-day work day, but typically we arrive on a Friday and we kind of, wrap things up Sunday afternoon. And, one thing Kevin was highlighting, right, is skill set for anybody. If you just want to drive a car one way, do you know how nice it is to have a shuttle? Well, Heidi, I know you do because you were hiking, but imagine carrying all your gear doing trail work, and you have to double back and walk all the way back to get to your vehicle, as opposed to walking through. I mean, the simplicity of just shuttling people, being a camp cook, being a camp manager. And that looks like, yeah, sure, the fire, but it also looks like making sure, everybody's stuff at camp is safe, right? Some people have dogs. Hey, depending on the location where we are, just checking on the dogs and stuff like that, making sure it's fun. We have some wonderful partners throughout our work days, whether that's state forests, private landowners, the national forest. So we would be remiss without thanking everybody that makes this trail and its foundation when it comes to maintenance known, right? We all can't do it alone. We're all one big, huge team, and it's fun. I mean, you meet people from all walks of life, and a lot of times potluck, maybe some food you've never, ever heard of in your life, and maybe some food you never want to try again. But the point is, it's like a blast. It really, really is. So speaking of section 4, I've got one other piece of art I thought I'd share here with everybody, that this is beautiful. So, I'm not biased. This is just another beautiful piece of artwork that Heidi created from nothing but her mind. And this is up in section 4. And let me see if y'all can see that. That is on Smith Knob. It's down in Greenbrier County. And yeah, looks just like this. So the trail comes up, and it's pretty big. So at the end of the day, y'all, we've got stickers, we got postcards. This is a print. This is 11 by 14. And so how beautiful would that look hanging up in your office or in your bedroom or whatever? Beautiful memory there. So if you want to talk about that little area for a second, feel free, hon.
Yeah, sure. So that one was done right outside of Grand Shelter, which was right after that stretch, a really well-maintained trail. And we got there. I walked out into that field and did the sketch that night, and then went back out the next morning and painted it during the sunrise, which was I hadn't done really any sunrises in person yet because I don't typically like to wake up that early, but was told it'd be a great spot for a sunrise painting, and so I was glad I was able to capture those unique colors and that different color palette and stuff from that experience. And so that was really cool. While we stayed at Graham Shelter, which is a phenomenal shelter that's really well maintained and actually water cached, and so there's gallons and gallons of water up there that the correct me if I'm wrong, but that the family provides that owns the land. Justin's providing that. Okay.
And Molly.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Molly. And then we met the family who owns the land adjacent to that. So they were I don't know, they were out in that field doing something. So they came up and we got to chat with them a little bit as well. And yeah, we had a great night stay in that shelter as well.
Awesome. And so, Julie, I'm going to have you zoom in on one other thing here. So those of you that may know, and feel free to sing it with me. I know y'all got some mountaineer love out there. So we have a song by Mr. John Denver. It goes something like, country roads take me home, right to the place I can't sing. But anyway, Allegheny Trail, West Virginia. So here's the thing, y'all. We got a sticker. It's called Take Me Home. Some beautiful mountain scene, a beautiful barn. You can see our yellow blaze there. And that's just speckled right throughout the trail. We've got some beautiful, rich country farmland. I know we were talking about that in section 1, but overall, all of this artwork that Heidi did, so stickers, postcards, prints, it's all going to be available on our website, but you can get it first in person at the 50th. Who knows? Heidi may be even doing a signing on the back of the print or something. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there, baby. Throwing it out there. And so as we wrap this episode up, overall, our hope, right, Heidi, is that this was an experience new for both of us, an opportunity for us to learn, grow, utilize your talents, your expertise to, transcend into the universe. Hey, come hike the Allegheny Trail. And on the flip side, it was a joy to work with you. You're an incredible artist, incredible person. It's just such a gift you have to look at something and bring it to life like that. And so, we hope other trails can seek your tutelage and learn from you and partner with you to make their trail shine just as beautifully as what you've done for us. I'm going to turn that over for you to second. Maybe talk something about like what it was like to work together. We've been on this a little while. This didn't happen overnight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When I hiked the Appalachian Trail 6 years ago now, when I finished, it's just such an effort to get out there and quit the job and save the money and stuff to do that experience. And my big goal coming back from that was to figure out a way to make adventure sustainable and figure out a way to incorporate it into my career in a way that I didn't have to quit my job to go out and to do these hikes. And so that has been my goal. That's what I've been working for the last 6 years. And this really felt like a sort of pinnacle to come to this opportunity where, I've been making a living off of hiking and I've been making a living off of art kind of separately. And so to be able to merge the two together and do something in this fashion that advance my career, but was hopefully mutually beneficial for you guys as well. It was just like a really cool experience. And so I'm really glad that and incredibly thankful that that opportunity was given to me from you guys. And I'm really excited to see how like this idea and this concept can be taken further with other trails and other just like recreational opportunities.
For sure. And we'll segue off for a second here. So the Allegheny Trail goes through 7 of the 12 Mon Forest towns. And so in West Virginia, we had an initiative called the Mon Forest Towns, which if you look at top to bottom of Monongahela National Forest, there are some towns there that were left behind a little bit, whether it was railroad, right, coal industry, timber industry. And so the epicenter of our trail and direct center, I should say, is in Durban, West Virginia. And so one of the other components that we have with a relationship with the Mon Forest towns and several other towns throughout our trail are Mon Forest towns. But one of the components we wanted to bring to light was the fact that Heidi is very talented. And so in the next few weeks here, not only is the Allegheny Trail going to benefit from her expertise, but the town of Durban is going to have a mural designed by Heidi. So yeah, very exciting. Again, a friend of the Allegheny Trail, the town of Durban, the Mon Forest towns, Pocahontas County, Convention and Visitors Bureau are all part of this collective of helping lift and elevate awareness of our trail, just like the outdoor recreation community, right? So West Virginia is really growing in this lane, in this aspect of our usage of the forest, and we want to keep that sustainable. Like you said, we want to keep conservation focused, and this trail is used by a lot of people. At the end of the day, one of the big things I'm super excited about right before the 50th is this mural that's going to be done. So those of you that are coming through Durban, West Virginia, you're going to see an amazing piece of artwork just come like right in front of you. It's going to be colorful. It's going to speak to who is Durban, right? Who were they? Who are they? Who are they going to be? That type of stuff. I don't want to give it all away. Totally worth the drive to come check it out. But Heidi, tell us a little bit about your mural background. And I know you've done a few of these in some unique places. And for those of us that are the hikers out here, the backpackers, outdoor lovers, tell us a little bit about the Appalachian Trail where your artwork's located.
Sure, yeah. I was very fortunate. The Appalachian Trail Conservancy reached out to me. It was only last year and trusted me with my first mural, which was like 26 by 9 feet, so not small by any means. And that is in Damascus, Virginia, which is one of the most iconic trail towns on the Appalachian Trail. They liked it so much, they invited me back to do 2 more, and I got a private business within the town to commission 1 indoors as well. And then from there was able to get, all it really takes is having 1 or 2 in your portfolio. And then I'm able to kind of market myself as a mural artist. Have 1 in North Carolina, have another one that I'm starting in October, and then another one that's scheduled for next year. So really kind of launching that kind of part of my career. It's been incredibly fun. I'm really excited for the Durban one. I leave tomorrow. So as soon as we hang up here, I'm going to go hopefully recruit my husband's help and getting all the stuff for the 50th and all the stuff all into my car. It's going to be packed to the gills. And, they're a lot of work. I'm going to be working for 2 weeks from sun up to sundown. And it's really physically challenging in a lot of ways. And but it's so fun to work at such a large scale. There's a lot of room for detail and storytelling. And really one of my favorite things about working on murals has been working in front of the public, and so having people that are just walking by and can stop and look. And I think a lot of times people are like, do you mind if I like take a picture? I'm like, no, this is great. It gives me an opportunity to kind of socialize and engage and get genuine feedback as it's happening. And in the murals I've done in the past, people have been able to point out some like the anatomy of the guitar, like maybe that's not right. It's like, oh cool, now you said that, now I can fix it. Or like, oh, you're gonna include this, right? And I'm like, well, I wasn't, but now I'm gonna, because 5 people mentioned it today. So I really enjoy the opportunity to get the community's feedback while I'm working. I'm looking forward to spending some more time in Durban. We enjoyed a great 0 day there on the thru hike. So I'm excited to be back. And I don't know if you guys know this will be my biggest mural yet. So I'm excited to get that in the bag.
Yeah, it's going to be 30 by 10. Shout out to Durban. If anybody wants to come to the mural reveal party, that's going to be September 4th from 6 to 8, downtown Durban. You cannot miss the mural. Like, you cannot miss it. It's huge. It's going to be a blast. Yeah, so, and then that segues right into the, a couple miles away, 12 miles away or so, is the Green Bank Observatory location where we're having our 50th, where you're going to be there. Julie, how about you coming on screen, girl, and joining us? Because we know you're going to be there too.
I didn't know you were going to be there.
So, Sugar, we can't hear you.
I messed my own stuff up. I messed my own sound up, but I'm here making sure you guys sound good. I messed my own sound up. First of all, it's great to be back on the mic with everybody. I love, being on the mic, but I also love being behind the scenes with you guys. And the trailer that you saw at the beginning of this episode was produced by Jester Wallace Productions. So a media company that I co-own with Austin Wallace. And we will be premiering the full film at the 50th, as well as showing a previous film, Safe and Found, that we worked with Heidi on as well. So excited about that. I'm just excited to see you guys in person again. I mean, there's nothing like hanging out with a bunch of hikers. Come on. You can't beat it. So, and Heidi, I just want to tell you congratulations. I remember when we had the conversation and you were saying that you had this idea for the Allegheny Trail and for it totally to come to fruition. And, everything circles around when you have a network. And I'm just absolutely excited and looking forward to seeing you guys here in a couple weeks.
Great. Appreciate that, honey. Likewise. So I got one more thing. I mean, as you guys know, Hiker Metals is a company. I don't know if you have them up, Julie, or not. My bad. I should have mentioned that. But Hiker Metals.
Are you serious? Of course.
Okay, my girl. Here we go. Okay, so I got one right here, but my cat knocked it off.
I'll make it a little smaller. There we go.
Okay.
To do transitions on the fly here. We've been doing it all night, people.
Yeah. So I've got a real live one here, Julie, if you want to zoom in a little bit. But so these are the Hiker Metals that Wim's company has created for us. And beautiful, like, right now, baby, when you complete the trail, you're almost an Olympian, right? So let's think about this for a second. We've got the rolling hills of West Virginia. We've got Hanging Rock. On this side. We got Hanging Rock. Our logo in red is the beautiful serpentining trail through the entire state in the mountains of West Virginia through there. And then on the actual ribbon part, these are unique and different. So when we got him to create a little bit of an oak tree element, West Virginia is really unique in that ecosystem, and the hardwoods here, part of Appalachia, the lungs of the world, for those of you that don't know that, with our hardwoods breathing for us all through there. And he also was able to etch that into the side of this. So what that is that's our blaze, our yellow blaze on an oak tree, which again, we have, I think 9 different ones in West Virginia. I could be wrong on that, could be more. But on the back, you can actually have etched the year, your name, your trail name, your experience, whatever you want. So, Heidi, I think I heard you say you got one of these. Is that right?
Yeah, I went on and I tagged that one. And then also I just completed the Tour de Mont Blanc because my husband and I spent the last month in Europe. So I grabbed that one. And I want to say I might have also snagged like a Pinhoti or one of the other trips that hikes I've done a few years ago. Just like while I was on his website. I was like, well, I'm here. I'll go ahead and get all of them. But yeah, excited to go ahead and get my Allegheny Trail one.
Yeah, awesome. So what a memory. What an accomplishment. Kudos to you, honey. Kevin and I have been hiking. I've been doing some updates through the other previous podcasts. And so I said I was going to get it done before the 50th. Then life happens. But I think statistically, I'm at the 64-mile left mark, and been doing it as a team, so want to complete it as a team. Kevin, hop in here and tell us what you're thinking about that. I know we've been hiking some together.
Yeah, I'm excited. We only got about 60 miles left, so a lot of excitement coming up. We get to finish that up together. I agree. So, yeah, we will definitely get it done. It's not before the 50th. It will be done this fall in the year of 2024 for sure.
Awesome. So, guys, great episode. Again, just hurry up, recap. Come to the 50th. If you can't make it, you can get all this amazing artwork. You can see all this stuff. Tickets are on sale for another 3 days. It's going to be epic, adventure, memories made. I can't take it.
Grace
So
Squirrel's going to be.
Grace Squirrel's going to be there. Julie's going to be there. I'm going to be there. Molly's going to be there. Justin's going to be there. Tiffany's going to be there. Y'all should too. Everybody should be there. The whole Allegheny crew is going to be there, right? So all those volunteers you may never, ever meet or see or talk to, I promise you, you just say thank you, they're going to know it. So guys, girls, without further ado, I'm going to wrap it up tonight. Appreciate the energy you brought. Appreciate the story. Great partnership, y'all. Just thank you so much. And see you in a couple weeks.